Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Roval Fowler.
And Roval Fowler is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome everyone to Apex Racing TV. I am Andy Thompson and we are here tonight to bring you round 8 of the Mazda Cup here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A big shout out and thank you to our sponsors SDK Gaming, Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy. I am joined in booth today with Mr. Sam Fitzpatrick, and on production we have Sam Kumo. So today, Sam, we're here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final round of what has been an amazing Mazda Cup season. What are you expecting tonight, mate?
Well, hopefully we'll have a clear winner in the championships. That's what we hope to do. Hopefully we see a nice fair end to the season as well, because you can see how close it is. Pavel Simonek, who's really had the lead of the championship for the entire season, like ever since race 1 at Watkins Glen, I think he's had the lead. Maybe Heiss evened it out after race 2 on that night, but I think literally since after race 1 or meeting 1 all the way to this meeting 8, I believe it is, he's had the lead as Simonek, but it has come down in recent rounds. Neither of them have got a particularly good drop score, so it's literally going to come down to who can score the most points tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think the last round was quite amazing. Obviously, Caleb was around about 25 points, if I remember rightly, behind Simonek. And obviously, we saw in race number 2, Simonek and Pinocchio getting into a tangle on the last corner that caused them both to have a penalty. And unfortunately, because it was the last lap, they subsequently got a 30-second penalty, which put them down to 14th place. which is obviously what's brought Caleb up to second place now with 5 points difference. So yeah, it's all to play for today. And in the AMs, we've obviously got Dan Parmalee that's way out in front, and I expect big things for him today, being obviously our resident American within the series.
Yeah, it's pretty much a crowning date, I think, for Parmalee. A strong lead. In fact, his drop score's like so strong that I think it would take Parmalee basically not score any points tonight and McMahon to win all 3 races in the overall. So it would be a huge effort, unlikely to happen. And Dan Parmalee, who's had to, soldier away, he has finished, I believe, the runner-up in the amateur category in the Porsche Cup Championship back in Season 1. That was last year. That was in 2020, I think, in the autumn. So he's had to real work hard. Of course, finished, I think, 3rd position in the amateur category last season. So it'll be great to see him finally get over that line.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we saw the first couple of rounds, Dan had a bit of a torrid time, but since then he's come out the other end of it, and there's very few races he's actually lost to the AM Championship. There's a few races that Damien McMullen has won, but on the whole, I think he's been the one to try and beat in the AM Championship. But obviously, all eyes tonight is on the pro with the fight between Simonek and Caleb Hypes. And obviously, as we heard last week from Caleb, he sees this as a very strong track tonight. So I think Powell's gonna have a bit of a battle tonight, and I'm expecting it to take it all the way down to race 3, so it'll be good, and hopefully none of them get taken out, and we can see some really good racing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've commentated on enough of these season finales to know that pretty much the only thing I want to know, of course, we have absolutely no allegiances in the broadcast. We want it to come down to the wire, of course, but also we just want it not to have any controversial penalty decisions, because one, we don't want the championship to be decided on a 5-point penalty, a 10-point penalty, and I mean, but just a heads up as well, I mean, a 5-point penalty in the final round, because you can't serve a pit lane start, you automatically get 20 extra points if you get a what would be a pit lane penalty. So even if you get a fairly minor one, that's going to be at least 10 points, maybe even 25 points if you get a mediocre incident. So hopefully there's no ambiguity about the results last night. Hopefully they will have clean races, and hopefully we'll see a couple of duels between the two of them, and yeah, it could be super entertaining because they have been so evenly matched this season. Yes, Caleb has maybe had the momentum recently, but Parallel would be just as worthy a champion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we saw there, riding on with Damien McMullen going around the lap, this track's sort of like split into two. You've got the infield section of the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and then obviously you've got this going on to the bank section on the outside. So, there's the tight, twisty bits of the, although fast-flowing corners of the infield, and then you've got to contend with what I would imagine to be, Sam, is quite a strong slipstream coming around the outside of the oval.
Yeah, particularly in these MX-5 cars, you'll be able to pick up a good draft. It's not quite as strong as it used to be. It'll probably be before your time, to be honest, Andy, but on the old Charlotte Roval that we had on iRacing when I started out, the first couple of years that I was starting out, you used to do the entire oval and then just do the infield like you kind of do now. It's a bit different profiles of the corners, as high as just nips to the top of the standings. But yeah, used to do the entire back straight, then NASCAR 3 and 4, and then the French straight as well. It used to be epic, proper speed dream. It's a little bit tame now, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That draft is still strong. And of course, a couple of heavy braking zones at the end of them with quite wide turn-ins. So yeah, plenty of overtaking possible. It's certainly different to Alton Park, which I think is like the ideal circuit for these cars. But I think these cars also fit very well around this circuit as well.
Yeah, I think obviously this track, what it should bring is very good passing opportunities, and obviously with the championship on the wire, and obviously the close racing we've had all season throughout the whole field, and the close racing, it should make for hopefully a very entertaining last 3 rounds of the championship. So I'm certainly looking forward to the next 3 races.
Yeah, and of course a couple of reverse grids as well to take place. 6-car reverse for race 2, and then an 11-car reverse for race 3. And so, and that was really important back at Alton Park, because Hyde's actually failed to put in a qualifying lap last time out at Alton Park, but then he super benefited from the reverse grid in race 2, and then won race 2 and race 3. Admittedly, he had to do quite a bit in race 3, so you know, it certainly didn't luck into it, but it kind of shows how quickly the evening can change. Doing well in race 1 is all well and good, but it's race 2 and race 3 where you tend to have the bigger variance when it comes to the point scoring. So those reverse grids could be crucial, as Hyde's crossing the line once again. I think, yeah, that was a bit of a slower lap. Simonek pulling to the side of the circuit. I thought he was going to have to tow back to the pits there, and if he did, he wouldn't have had time to do an out lap and then a flying lap, but he seems to be back going again, so he should have time to complete this lap and then start another lap, but he can't waste any time.
No, definitely, and the distance between first and second, we got Caleb Hydes with a 131.858, and then you got Simonek 8,000ths of a second behind him. So you got the top two protagonists of the Pro Championships going to be side by side, and it's I suppose it's really crucial on this track, Sam, certainly in that first race, to be at the front of the grid, because that first corner is can get quite treacherous, because the cars slip out to the right, and you know, if you're further back in the grid, then you could get caught up in the traffic, and that's going to be a big factor for race 2 and 3 with the reverse grids that we've got tonight as well, for the guys that are going to be at the front, as we see Philippe Lauer obviously hitting the corner. It's quite amazing as well, the how much airborne the cars get going through the last chicane as well, Sam.
Yeah, those curbs, I find them really satisfying to drive over. I can't remember what car it was, maybe the Radical SR8 I was maybe driving, or maybe the Porsche Cup car. I just love, you know, probably, yeah, going over those blue curves. They're just kind of tall enough that you can get some air, as you say, but they're not so tall that, you know, you have to avoid them. So it's quite a good balance that they've got here at Charlotte's Motor Speedway. By the way, you have corrected me on the reverse grids. It is 11 and then 6, so well done on that one. I'm not aggrieved whatsoever. But yeah, 11 cars. It's very important for you viewers, hence why I mention it, because I desperately didn't want to, but I feel like it's important for everyone to know, because that is where you if you're a midfield driver, arguably where you want to be, certainly in that top 11, so you can get the benefit. Simonek and McQuell, all the Poles contenders into the pits, apart from maybe Hyde and Valentini, could maybe go for a big lap. And this man, Ross Fowler, who's ended the season particularly strongly, is a real challenger in most of the amateur races. He's doing very well at the moment, up there in 8th place, and he has got just enough time to maybe improve and get in amongst the pros.
Yeah, definitely. I think he joined us for the last 3 rounds or 4 rounds, I think it was, and certainly I think it looks like he's found his feet in this championship, which is obviously all fixed setups, so everybody driving the same car, and it's very much down to driver skill around these. As we come now into the last 10 seconds of the qualifying session, with Caleb Hyde's going to be on pole position with a 1:31.576. Doesn't quite get a better lap on that one, but still 3 tenths ahead of Paweł Simonek going into round 1 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we'll just wait for them to start gridding up, and we'll go through the lineup for the grid. So as we were saying, Caleb Hyde in first place with a 1:31.576. Paweł Simonek in 7th. Tom McQuell, Philip Lauer, Tom Valentini round out the top 5. Philip Sen, Christian Smits, Russ Fowler in the top am in 8th place. Colin Sampson, Dan Parmalee in 10th. Ronald Moons in 11th, so got a couple of arms in front of him. Paul Legat in 12th. We have Nathan Healy 13th, Damien McMullen in 14th, Jay Walsh 15th, Darren Doherty, Andrew Brahm, Victor Lewandowski, and Wade Proctor finishing out the grid of 19 for this round, Sam. So, yeah, any thoughts before the round?
Well, it's just great to have the top two alongside one another, and hopefully we see them next to one another for the entire race, for the entire 3 races tonight. And great to see still so many drivers out there, 19 drivers turning up tonight. We didn't start the season with too many. I think it was maybe 21, 22, 20, something around there. And we've retained pretty much all of them. A couple of new additions as well, which have been really good for the league. So yeah, great to see so many drivers who we've become accustomed to over the past couple of seasons taking the grid tonight.
Definitely. So we're just about hopefully get underway here. As you see the tail end of the grid going around the last curve there, you can see our 286, which is Nathan Healy right on the corner. Obviously the cars go further back than that, so the starting 12 are actually on the main grid, the rest are behind. So we're watching Caleb Hives here, who's on pole position. So in the past he's had a bit of a struggle coming off from pole position, so hopefully he gets away. So here we go, we're going to get the red lights in a minute. Red lights are up and we are underway, and Caleb Hibbs, and a great start there from Paolo Simonet, getting right behind Caleb Hibbs, all over the back of him. Caleb's making a defensive line coming into turn 1, getting that outside line going in. So at the moment Caleb Hibbs is still in, Simonet well, Valentini, Laura and Sen. So no real movers. Tom Valentini's gone up and Philip Laura's gone down 1. Christian Smith is up 1 and Colin Sampson's up 1. The rest of the field are filtering through the inner part of the track, coming round to the first outside onto the outside of the oval going into this. So this is where we'll see probably some passing moves down there with, as Sam was saying before, the slipstream effect. So Caleb Hives obviously still getting out front with Paolo Simonet right on his tail. So all going to be nose to tail this first lap, and it's quite crucial, Sam, that they try and get these run and use the slipstream to the maximum effect.
Absolutely, and how defensive Hides was down into turn 1. I mean, he saw the kind of switchback from Simonet coming, and he got his car right to the inside. Absolutely did not leave him any room. Not that he had to, of course. He was ahead, so he could cover off all the way to the white line. So great driving there from Hides to hang on to the lead, but maybe just setting the tone for tonight. They know what the stakes are to these two drivers. Hides with a good bus stop there, just pulling away slightly from Simonet, but well, we'll see if he can kind of replicate his dominant pace at Alton Park in this one. Simonet was fairly strong in race 1, of course did win race 1 at Alton Park, but maybe didn't show the pace later on in the evening, so he really needs to show that. And still just behind McQuarrie and very quick starting Valentini, staying close at third and fourth.
Yeah, so the grid pretty much staying as they were. There's 4 drivers that have actually only gone up 1 place, which is Tom Valentini, Christian Smith. I think we've got Colin Sampson gone off around the first corner, which is quite easy to do, Sam, especially with maybe you hit that wall on the right-hand side. Let's have a look at it.
We had Fowler behind now. I think Fowler's dropped some places here, so Fowler I think's got caught up, so watch out where he goes. Fowler managed to get past that one, so can we maybe watch it from Fowler here, because you can see Palmley just behind him, and Palmley goes for the move. Fowler very slow on the outside. Was that a slowdown?
Not sure actually. Can you get a slow down on that? I'm not sure. That'd be a very strange place to get a slow down. I think
well,
obviously he's gone right down.
You can, like, all the time, but it's a tiny slowdown. Honestly, like, watch out for it later on. If a driver skips the final chicane, you can actually gain time. It's a dreadful system that iRacing have got. They need to fix it, especially considering it's a new circuit. Absolutely no excuses. As Langert now takes the amateur lead, so we've now had, I think, 4 different amateur leaders in the first 2 laps.
Yeah, no, it's always great in the amateurs. Big gaggle of them here from 8th all the way down to 14th place here, all vying for position. It's like watching an oval race here with them all slipstreaming each other in 2 banks of 2 coming around into the last chicane here. So.
Oh man, that was yeah, super close. Look at Walsh getting the brilliant cut back there and spinning off in the background as Fowler. How his race has gone very sour in the matter of a lap or so, not liking that chicane so far. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, with the close proximity of the cars. Feels super intense on board. I mean, so to say these are slower than stock cars, but when you're millimeters away from other drivers, it feels like you're racing along at twice the speed. So yeah, great driving there. As into the wall goes Healy. Fortunately, that's a tyre barrier, so shouldn't have too much damage from that.
No, I think, unfortunately, I think Russ Fowler took too much of that curb coming out of the last corner there, which obviously threw him around. Luckily, he didn't collect any of the other cars going in there, so that was fortunate. The other cars managed to get out of the way with them, considering they were so close. As we have Dan Parmalee here, the champion leader at the moment in the AMS, in second place in the AM Championship. So it looks like Paul Legat has got away from him a little bit here, Sam.
Yeah, it seemed like they were all battling one another across the track goes Moons. Now that can be quite a bad slide down, as Walsh now has a slide, so he's gone from 0 to 0 with that great cutback move at the end of the last lap, gained a few places, but has lost them all again. Maybe being put off here because Moons went straight across, and maybe Walsh missing his braking zone, carrying too much speed in, and spinning the car around. But yeah, I think Lengert just managed to get away whilst the others were battling. Lengert was able to kind of just scamper away for a moment, as these guys aren't getting away because this is Hyde still in the lead of the race. And if Hyde wins this race one, I believe, and I will check the point scoring system, I believe he would move into the championship lead with 2 races to go. Now obviously if Hyde did win, then Simnek would have a better position for race 2. But I'm sure Hyde wants to win this race if he can, because with the point system we use in this championship, a race win over second position is quite an advantage. Not a couple of points, I believe it's 7 points advantage.
Yeah, I believe it is. As we saw there, Caleb Hyde's sliding around them corners, trying to keep out in front. Obviously, Powell is getting the slipstream effect down here, but it's not as strong as I thought it would be. Maybe he's like he's doing now. He's just popping out of it. He should stay behind him just to get him right behind him, and then use the maximum bit coming out of this corner and using the rest of the bank for the slipstream. But Caleb seems to be sort of holding him at arm's length at the moment, so these two certainly battling, and this is what I was hoping for the final round. These two battling it out at the front as close as they are.
This could be an opportunity at a move. It's quite easy to defend that one because it's such a curve that you can kind of just go in the middle of the circuit and potentially just straighten it out rather than continuing turning, so it's quite easy to cover with the inside into that one. But Simnek does look faster, honestly, right now. Just to confirm, by the way, 75 points for the race win, 68 for second, 64 for third, 61 for fourth, and then it's 2 points difference back to 8th. And then 1 point difference from there. But I don't think we're going to have to be worrying about that far down. We just need to, at least in this race, concern about first and second. And yeah, if Simnek won this one, 12 points would be the advantage with 2 races to go. If Hyde's won this one, he would have a 2 points advantage with 2 races to go.
As you can see there, Caleb Hyde's right wing mirror is hanging off, so I think he might have had a little scrape with probably that wall there, which is quite easy to do coming out of that corner, going on to the outside of the oval track on there. But he seems to be a little bit quicker than Simonet going through the infield, Sam. But obviously the slipstream effect brings Powell back up to right behind him by the end of the lap, so it'd be interesting to see. And obviously we saw in Alton Park that Powell gets a little bit agitated when a big off there. Luckily both the cars managed to miss each other, and Christian Smits no, he's got a front left damage there, so I think that's certainly a trip back to the pits, even if he can get back there, which I don't think he can. So it'll be a tow back to the pits, and unfortunately that'll be the end of his race there. But Legat is still leading the AMS, and Parmalee in second place. Currently, looking at this right, half a second behind Legat at the moment. So catching him up a little bit, but big wide out there from who was that?
That was Legat.
Oh.
Yeah, so Parmalee back to the lead then, which he lost a few laps ago, and McMullen goes through as well, so Lengert could hold on for a while, but you can see how slow that last lap was at 34.1 compared to the leaders 32.5, so not too bad. It was a good lap really, besides that chicane mistake right at the end. And so it's the top 2 in the AMS Championship leading this race 1 in the amateur category. And now Ronald Moons, who had a cut through the bus stop earlier on, which dropped him a few places, he also gets past Lengert. So yeah, curse of the amateur leaders so far. We've seen 4 of them, I believe, so far. And McMullen is one of them, so maybe we'll see a 5th by the end if he can catch up to Parton.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lap times of Caleb Hydes and Paweł Simonek. The difference between the fastest laps of the 2 drivers is 0.03 of a second, and the last lap was Caleb Hydes done a 1:32.59 and Paweł Simonek done a 1:32.60. So there's absolutely nothing between these 2 guys. They're putting it all on the line here for the first race because they know what's at stake. Oh, as we see Paweł hit the wall rather hard there coming out, would have lost a little bit of time, but shouldn't have got too much damage, as I think he's just trying to follow Caleb Hyde and having that right wing mirror hanging off there, Sam.
And something that I haven't mentioned so far, I was talking about the points. You do get a bonus point for getting 0 incidents. And the championship could come down to that. You think that could be a big difference? Well, Paweł's just gone on the grass there, so he's not going to get the 0 incidents. I'm trying to see if Hydes... Hydes has not got any incidents so far. Paweł I can't see on my list. I'm almost certain he will have an incident after either hitting the wall or on the back end of that last lap. So that's another point potentially which could be going Hyde's way, which would be very significant. Would extend his lead to 3 points at the end of this race if he could win and if he could keep those incidents away.
Ooh, took that line into there. We're a little bit close to that wall on that inside that we saw there, and Dan Parmalee going around the outside of Philippe Sen. So struggling a little bit at the moment. So the lap before was 1:37. I think that was obviously the incidents that we saw with Smits. I think he was tied up with that, but seems to be losing a lot of time here, Sam, unless he's just letting the AMs go through and just trying to play well, I know it's 11 places for the reverse grid pole, and maybe he's looking at the reverse grid pole on this one, which is not unheard of in these leagues.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was a big incident with Schmitz, so maybe that because Schmitz seemed to get a lot of damage, so maybe he's feeling some of the repercussions from that one and dropping back. But it's it might be ideal for him. 10th position at the moment. He's got Doherty only a second behind, so apologies, no, he's got Doherty 3 seconds behind, so he might hang on. Sen for a reverse grid pole. Keep an eye on that one, but yeah, he needs to go faster than a 37 they did on the last lap. Simonek is running out of time, but he seems to somehow be getting closer and closer. I don't know really how you can get closer than that, and yet he does seem to be closing that gap each lap. A little bit of opposite lock there, but a fairly good run. Of course, the concertina effect can make it tricky for us to really assess the gap, but it's 0.4 of a second, and it seems as though really from the start of the oval to the bus stop chicane, it seems like Paweł gains about 0.3 down the straight, albeit this time it's only about 1/10. So I wonder if that slight scrape with the wall is costing him some time down the straights now with that track.
Yeah, possibly. As we saw there, Paweł was right on the tail of Caleb's coming out onto the oval, but Caleb seems to have the marking of that corner and seems to get like 0.4 of a gap coming out of that. So he certainly mastered that corner, which Paweł was losing the time on. But like you say, Sam, by the end of the lap, Paweł's all over the back of Caleb Hydes now, and we got 3.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left of this race. So another 2 laps, but penny for his 40 on Caleb. Just seeing Paweł Simonek all in his bit. Oh, as Caleb has a big hit on the wall there, coming around turn 1, which would have scrubbed some of his speed off. But as we see, he's still keeping a little bit of advantage over Paweł coming around on the infield side of the track. We've got Marquel in 3rd and Valentini in 4th, trying to fight it out between the 2 of them, and a big gap then back to 5th place, and then Dan Parmalee, the top of the AMs, in 6th place with McMullen still on his tail. So maybe he'll have a little bit of a battle there, we'll have to see. But as we're coming around to hopefully take the white flag here, maybe.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, we'll be. They won't get around in 15 seconds. So they'll be taking a white flag here. So only one more lap for Caleb Hydes. But I think the biggest test, tonight, Sam, is going to be round 2 with the reverse grid. And obviously previous, we've seen Caleb have a bit of an issue trying to get through the field, whereas Paweł is a master at just carving up the field and getting to the front. So it's round 2 certainly going to be interesting.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, that's where it could be decided in race 2. Honestly, if one of them has a bad event, as Moose just moves ahead of McMullen. All the changes. Suddenly Lengertz, I think, had a problem. Or is that Sen having a problem? I think that's Sen just dropping behind, actually. So Sen down to 11th. He needs to try to stay ahead of Doherty, but I don't think that's going to happen because Doherty's lapping 2 seconds a lap faster at the moment. And also McMullen is just being overtaken by Moon. So Moon's managed to get that one done on the brakes into the bus stop. McMullen trying to respond here, but the Belgian driver who was the runner-up, of course, last season in the overall championship isn't fast enough. And across the track goes Healy. Now that's not going to be a bad slowdown. He may even keep that position because this slowdown is so minor.
I think that's exactly what you were saying. Oh, is that optimistic move there? Wow, yeah. Paul Legat, unfortunately, there went a bit too hot into that corner, and unfortunately, Darren Doherty was a bystanding passenger there, taken out at the back by Paul Legat into there. So
close.
Fowler, obviously in 11th place, as we come around to the last lap now, so this is last chance saloon for Powell to try and make a move on Caleb High. He's all over the back. Let's see if he does an optimistic move or what happens here. So coming out of that corner, Caleb takes it, but and Powell might have the run on him now going in. Oh no, getting lost it on the last corner. I think that's a slipstream dream there. Sam coming in as it's side by side coming towards the line. Caleb's got that inside line, so we can see him slightly going ahead, so he might just get this one by a nose, I think, coming around to line. But Powell's not giving up. He's no!
It's skidding across the second. Hyde finishes in 3rd place. Now he needs to make sure he doesn't get. Well, I mean, he can't make sure. I wonder if he got a penalty for cutting the final chicane because he was all over the curb there. And Simonek, well, I'm sure that will be investigated by the stewards. So unfortunately, we kind of got what we didn't want to see in race 1. But Simonek winning the race, Valentine managing to get up into 2nd place, and Hyde, we're going to have to wait for the race results to come in. Because, yeah, I'm not sure if he got maybe a slowdown there, because he wouldn't have had time to serve it, and that's often a problem we have here at Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It might be a round 2 of Stimilek from Alton Park for Hydes on this one, so we'll have to see when the race results come up if Caleb Hydes keeps that 3rd place or moves down. If he does, it'll be disastrous for him for the championship, and yeah, that would be a horrible way to sort of end the run-in for this. But we'll have to see when the race results come in. But be interesting to just have a quick look back at that one and just see what happened. But I don't think we're going to get a chance to, as we should be getting the results now for round 1. Let's see if Caleb keeps first. And as we see here, Powell Simonek in first, Tom Valentini in second. Caleb Hydes does keep 3rd place, so luckily didn't get a slow down off that last corner. Tom McQuell in 4th, Philip Lauer in 6th, Dan Parmalee, Ronald Moons, Damien McMullen, Nathan Healy, Russ Fowler and Philip Sen, who will be your pole sitter for round 2. Jay Walsh, Darren Doherty, Paul Legat, Victor Lewandowski, Andrew Brahm, Colin Sansom and Christian Smits in 18th with Wade Proctor. So the last 2 obviously didn't finish the race. As we said there, Philip Sen getting the pole position. I think fortunate rather than skill as we start here the race 2, waiting for the red lights. They come on and we are ready to race. We are go. And a bit of a wheel spin there from Sen as well as Fowler, but I think it's going to be positioned tails going into the 1st corner. So we've got Sen, Fowler, Healy and McMullen and Moons, who's the 1st pro in 5th place with Dan Parmalee in 7th, as Fowler goes around the outside and tries to take Sen, but Sen manages to keep it on the inside of going up into the corner. And have we got any movers? Caleb Hydes actually managed to get up 1, Powell Simonek up 1, so Caleb Hydes in the 8th and as Simonek in 10th at the moment, as they all bunch up coming around this infield. Being very considerate with each other on this infield, I think, Sam.
Yeah, I thought McMullen was going to make that one 3 wide, but he thought better of it. Really anyone's game in these early stages. The drivers are so bunched together, and Sen, who was my pick for the race win, honestly, really having a poor start, and he's almost got a slide on there. There is contact with Ronald Moons, but somehow they're all keeping it in the right direction. So it's an Irish 1-2 at the moment, Healy and McMullen, but Sen has got the inside line, he's got the short streaks, and is able to move ahead. Hyde's moving up to 6th position, leaving Simonek really in his wake at the moment. He needs to start to gain some places as they're all making contact. That hides across the track as well. Simnek is going to get blocked. It's taken out half the drivers there with varying amounts of damage, many of which will need fast repairs, many of which will be able to soldier on. But that was an absolutely huge incident, and I have no clue who gets it all off.
I think there was a bit of a contact there between Caleb Pies and Dan Parmalee, I think it was, coming into that. No, I'm not sure. It wasn't. No, it was a car behind, wasn't it?
1-2-2. I think it was maybe Lauer, honestly, if I had to pin it on someone. I think he outbroke himself, pushed one, and that pushed them all into the others, and Hyde's losing an immense amount of time, and has not come into the pits though, Caleb, but he's miles behind Powell now.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. I mean, we saw the cars there, like 2-3 wide going into the bus stop. There's really only one clear line through that sort of bus stop, if you want to call it, chicane, going into that area. That, you know, there was bound to be some sort of contact, being the group that was in there. Obviously, Powell profited out of that coming in. He did get hit, and obviously he had to slow down, but I think pretty much put the whole field on a bit of a slowdown as we see Nathan Healy now leading the race up 2 places, currently just ahead of Philip Sen, but then there's a big gap of 1.5 seconds back to Damien McMullen, and then 2.7 back to Tom McCall. So these top 2 here, if they work together and don't battle all the time, they should be able to pull away and keep out. As we see on screen now, you know, the gap between 3rd and 4th Sam is quite big with that incident, but it's going to be interesting now to see what Caleb Pies can do to try and get onto the back of Powell Simonek. He needs to be behind him in this race. If he doesn't, it's going to be a monstrous challenge to be able to get up and try and take this championship, certainly with only having a 6-spot reverse grid for race 3 as well.
Yeah, so very least he needs to get up to 6th place, but yeah, he needs to finish within a couple of places of Simnek, really. The easy job from here on in is winning race 3, honestly, I think, because I think he will get into the top 6. He set the fastest first sector of anyone, and now the fastest lap of anyone that last 12 rounds, so that damage, which is very cosmetic, undoubtedly, doesn't seem to be costing him too much pace. Simnek, you would have seen, just going past Walsh and Lauer, also getting through as well, so 5, 6, 7 for them. Hyde's with some catching up to do. Yeah, Flower will be tricky to catch up. Maybe Healy and McMullen may also drop back across the 2 amateur drivers. I think Hyde should be able to get to the top 6, but man, this is not looking great for him at the moment, because after that race 1 result, 11 points is the difference. It was looking so good. It honestly looked like, going into the last half lap, that he would have a 3-point advantage, you know, with the bonus point as well for 0 incidents. He lost that because he crashed, obviously, on the final corner, and all of a sudden you have, what, a 19-point swing in one move. So that has really transformed this championship, as it seems like McMullen is going to be moving past Healy. No teammates, by the way. These guys are mates, but they aren't teammates, so they're not necessarily going to let each other have it easy.
No, definitely not. They've been joined together at the hip for the majority of this championship. Very good friends. So we'll see. As Healy took that racing line, he seems to like that racing line. So he obviously knows that the slowdown, it doesn't really affect him that much, and obviously chose to take the slowdown rather than try and take an unconventional line coming through that last turn, which would possibly shove him in a line, but shove him into the wall. But as we see, Healy managing to still keep that position in front of McMullen, with McQuell now coming into the fray, and Simnek not far off the back, but there's a bit of a gap between Caleb Hydes and Jay Walsh. It was about 3 seconds at the moment. So although Caleb's fast on this track, Sam, he's got a bit of time to make up, but to try and get into that 6th place. So and time, he's got 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes left to do it. So at least he's got a little bit of time to try and call back to try and get that 6th place, but it's going to be an uphill task for him.
Yeah, it sure is. As Healy just dropping behind McMullen, and McQuarrie running slightly wide. Simnek is also going to make that advantage pay as well. McMullen still being able to hold on. Look at Healy there. That's an excellent defensive move. Oh, Powell breathing in there. So tries to fit between the wall. but he is up into 4th position. Good work. Hides with a purple first sector and purple second sector on this lap. So yeah, catching up to these guys at a rate of knots. But McMullen managing to keep that second place ahead of McQuell has really helped out Philippe Sen. And by the way, it is Philippe Sen, of course, the great F1 driver, Philippe Massa. And I've been pronouncing it Philippe all this time, European convention. So apologies, Philippe, for mispronouncing his name for the whole season, but I'll try to get it right for the final 1.5 races this season.
Better late than never in it, Sam, I think. I'll probably got most of the guys' names wrong at some point during this season anyway, as I'm terrible with the European names at a time, as we see a hotly contested 4th, 5th and 6th here between the top two AMs, McMullen and Healy in 4th and 5th, with Laura in 6th. So good to see the I'm still keeping up there. Started in 2nd and 3rd, I think it was. So still keeping in the top 5, which is good. But I think Lara is probably going to start taking the two guys now, as he just takes Healy, and they'll have McMullen. But certainly have McMullen in the top race. Parmalee struggling a little bit on this one, Sam. Way down the order in the AMs, obviously caught up in that lap one. Oh, as we see a little bit of a spin there on Lara with McMullen, so a little bit of contact there coming out of the bus stop, and Caleb Hyde profited from that, going from 8th place all the way up to 4th place. So I think he's counting his lucky stars now. So only 1 place between himself and Paweł Simonek at the moment.
Yeah, and Walsh now takes the lead of the amateur race. If you can get it stuck, Healy might skip across again here. I mean, I would if I were him, because according to iRacing, that's not a problem. May as well just go flat out over that. Honestly, it's absolutely horrendous that I've never been more second by iRacing in my life. As well, Healy's getting the bad at the moment. I'm thinking, what's the opposite of red with the green? It's the opposite of that, red with the brown, and red with the purple. He's down to 7th position, and Walsh with a bit of an advantage, but Walsh is now going off the circuit. You saw that highlights on the timing tower on the left. Wonder if we could get a replay actually of that incident between, it was McMullen and McQuell. McQuell went for the move, and I think after being held behind for a couple of for a little bit, or maybe it was Laura, apologies, who may have gone for the move, and yeah, contact between the two of them at the bus stop, and Healy was kind of the unfortunate victim, I think, in all of that. This is a lap 1 replay, which would still be very interesting, because I think it was Laura who actually triggered it all off. You can see the 1-2-2 just out braking himself, heading into the 2-13, and all the carnage happening after that.
Oh yeah, screen's down a bit. I'm back now, so that's good. No more replay was a bit funny there now. I could see it, but yeah, I think they went for that incident as we see here. So sort of Laura went in 2x2, and then unfortunately I think McMullen clipped the back end of Lara as he was trying to come through. But the big winner out of that was Caleb Hyde, and I think he was thanking his lucky stars that he's still in with a chance of this championship now after that horrendous lap 1 incident coming down into the bus stop. So hopefully, I mean, how far is he behind 3rd place? Oh, I think the gap's probably too far. It's about 6 seconds. So, you know, from where he was, Sam, I don't think it's too bad for him. I think I would take where he's at the moment, and he's got it all to do for race 3. Just makes it a lot harder.
I think he just needs to hope now that Simonek doesn't catch Sen. 3 seconds is the gap, and Simonek's catching by 9/10 of a second a lap. It's going to be super close by the end. I mean, it's going to be if Simonek's going to catch, it's going to be on probably the last lap and a half or so. Or Sen will be able to win by less than a second. So that's his only hope. Otherwise, the gap's going to be up to 30-odd points, which is almost insurmountable, unless Simonek gets a penalty, which might be a possibility after that Heat 1 incident at the last corner. Healy trying to go for the lead once again of the amateur category. Walsh was able to nip through the incident that they had at this corner a few moments ago. McMullen's closely missed the corner there. He had a great opportunity, and Healy somehow, Walsh somehow keeps the lead then, because I think Healy, did he get a slowdown as well as McMullen, because he took a lot of curb there.
Yeah, quite possibly the two Irish contingency trying to take it 3 wide into the bus stop, as we see here. Walsh taking the line too close, but McMullen, doing the right thing there actually. Otherwise, he would have gone back into his countryman Healy's rear end, so trying to take that inside line. But probably both of them got to slow down. But certainly the AM win for this race is heating up.
Quick shout out to Virtual Racing School, by the way, for sponsoring this series for the entire championship. Super appreciate their support on Apex Racing TV. Of course, Virtual Racing School offering over 50 data packs for road and over racing. And those data packs including setups, track guides, data analysis software, and one-on-one coaching with some of the best drivers in iRacing. If you want to improve your on-track iRacing performance, go visit Virtual Racing School. There really isn't a better place in order to find those extra few tenths of a second. And of course, the Mazda MX-5 is one of the cars covered, I believe. So if you race in the advanced Mazda series, then Virtual Racing School is a great place for you, as well, the Irish drivers had dropped back, but they're on the comeback now. And also Lewandowski is catching up to these guys very quick, and if they keep battling like this, we could have a 4-way battle for the AM to win.
Yeah, definitely. It's hotting up in the AM win for race 2. I think it's all, but saying that, I mean, Dan Parmalee is currently in 7th place on the AM, so it's probably his worst result for a long time, Dan. So that first lap incident must have put some damage onto his car. Obviously decided not to come in to repair it, and obviously as a consequence of something.
No.
Oh no, big spin out there, and Healy comes off the worst between the two. So unfortunately, happened there and coming around the bus stop.
So this is Walsh on the inside. Healy kept his nose in there, and then McMullen, basically with nowhere to go, hits the back of him, and Lewandowski goes from, he's probably about 5 seconds behind 2 laps ago. Lewandowski, he was 3 seconds faster than those drivers in the last lap, and somehow Walsh is still in the lead, which I'm not sure how that's happened. So 1.5 minutes to go. The leaders are going to complete this lap and 1 more lap, so these guys have got 1.5 laps remaining. And yeah, we got the top 3 in the amateur category and top 3 in the overall, all super close to one another. It's tricky to know who to watch, but this battle is half a second the gap, and the gap for the lead is 1.5 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, Paolo Simonek looks like he's right on the tail now. Philippe Sen 0.8 of a second behind him, so as you say, a lot faster than him. Last lap it was round about 0.7 of a second, so I think Caleb will just be hoping that Philippe Sen keeps that first place and doesn't give it to Paolo Simonek, but I think it might be a foregone conclusion coming into this, considering how quick Paolo Simonek, and he will have that slipstream coming down. As we see an unconventional line there from Victor Lewandowski that manages to get round Walsh on the inside or the lower half of the track to take the AM win. So, you know, a new driver to the MX-5 series, joined the last 4 races, had a really good qualifying in his first session. I think it was Lime Rock Park, if I remember right, Sam, and didn't really do well, but you know, he's starting to get his legs in this MX-5 now, and as we see in the top place of the AM, as we see here, the race for first place, Philippe Sen doing all he can to try and keep that. There is a little bit of a gap between himself and Simonek coming around to take the flag, but that slipstream will bring Simonek back up to Philippe Sen, and it's just all about the exits of these next 2 corners. If Philippe can do them well, then it should keep Powell behind him. If he takes them and makes a tiny mistake, Powell will pounce on any sort of misgiving. So a race up to the line here, Sam.
Yeah, you gotta think, is Powell going to take the same risk as he took in race 1? It's not against a championship contender, and he doesn't need the points necessarily, he just needs to finish race 3 if he finishes 2nd place here. But will he go for it right at the end? Sen is covering off all the angles, and I think the Brazilian's going to have enough.
Yeah, definitely, as we see here, yeah. Philippe Sen takes race 2 with Paolo Simonek and McQuell in 3rd place. Caleb Hibes should get 4th place with Philip Lara behind him. So what we'll do now is we'll have a little advert from our Oh, sorry, I do think we're looking at the AM category lead. So Lewandowski, jumping the gun a little bit there, gets the AM class lead. So that's his first AM class lead of the season, with Walsh getting second, and it looks like Doherty and Healy coming up in third and fourth as they all come across the line. So apologies for that, but I think now we'll go to a quick advert from one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy, and then when we come back, we should give you the results. Hello and welcome back to Apex Racing TV. So we are currently at round 8 of the Mazda Cup here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have had 2 rounds down, with Paolo Simonek winning race 1 and Philippe Sen winning race 2 there. So we've got a 5-minute warm-up now, and hopefully we can get the results for that second race, so we can quickly run through that. And here we go. So it was Philip Sen who came first, Paolo Simonek in second place, Tom McQuell in third, Caleb Hibes in fourth, Philippe Laura in fifth, Victor Lewandowski in sixth. So we'll start on reverse grid pole for race 3. Jay Walsh in seventh, Darren Doherty eighth, Nathan Healy in ninth, and Damien McMullen rounds out your top 10. Below that, we got Andrew Baum, Tom Valentini, Paul Legat, Dan Parmalee, Colin Sampson, Ronald Moons, Russ Fowler, Christian Smits, and Wade Proctor. So it looks a little bit like Christian Smits and Wade Proctor not had the best first 2 rounds. Looks like they've finished out of the races in the first 2 rounds within the pits with that. So all to do in this into this last round here, Sam, for Caleb Hibes. He needs to have an excellent. I think he's going to have Paolo Simonek have an issue to stand a chance to get this championship now.
Yes, the gap in points between the two of them in that space 2 was 68 to 61. So by my calculations, then that's another 7 points difference. So I think it's 23 points heading into this final round. What I would say though is, if Powell gets a penalty, which I think is possible, because we can't actually see a replay of the race 1 incident, unfortunately. We did try to see a show replay of it, so genuinely I don't know. It could have been Caleb's fault for all I know, but I'm just giving all the possibilities. If there was a penalty given out, that would be 25 penalty points, most likely. So as long as he's within that 25 points, he's within a chance. I don't think there would be more than 25 points unless Powell got 2 incidents, 2 penalties. I haven't really seen him get involved in any big collisions. Besides that, I don't think the race 2 start was any of his fault from what we saw. So no, even if he's not, leading, even if he doesn't win the championship, just staying within that 25 points could be quite important, just in case there is a bit of stewards' inquiries after the race.
Yeah, I wonder what's going through both Caleb Hibes and Paolo Simonek's minds at the moment. Obviously, Caleb's probably kicking himself, but he was very fortunate in that second race, because he was right down the tail end of the field after the incident on the bus stop in race 2 there on lap 1, but still managed to get up to 4th with a couple of incidents that happened in front of him. So, all in all, it's still giving him a fighting chance at the moment. If he had stayed in 8th or less, then I think that would have been his chance gone. But certainly, never say never in these leagues. Anything can happen, and he's just got to try and race his own race and see what happens at the end, I think.
Yeah, just give it his all as he has done all season long, and yeah, we'll see where he ends up. Of course, this is the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup, and it's not the only championship that Apex Racing League hosts. Of course, we have this championship on Tuesdays. We have GT3s. On Wednesdays, we have Porsches, and that covers GT3s, GTEs, GT4s. On Thursdays, we have a new NASCAR Truck Series. On Fridays, we have a very exciting series, the Stadium Super Trucks Series. On Saturdays, we have Formula 3, and on Sundays, we have GTE. So if you head over to apexracingleague.com, you can check out details for all of those championships, and excitingly, starting next week, we are going to have a Formula V championship, the new car in iRacing, part of the base iRacing content, and we're going to have an 8-round championship in that. That'll be on Monday nights. Very similar format to this, 3 15-minute races, couple of reverse grids, and yeah, exact same timings as we have for this championship on a Monday evening. So if you fancy like taking part in that championship, do go to apexracingleague.com, and if you think that sounds pretty cool, but none of those cars quite suit my fancy, well, join our Discord server. There's a link in the description below. Click on that, and you can constantly see any updates for new championships coming up, because we have plenty in the works always coming out the doors.
Yeah, and there's also a brand new Porsche Challenge series starting on Wednesdays as well. So 2 leagues starting next week. So we're just about to start race 3. So I'll quickly run through the grid for you. So we've got Victor Lewandowski on pole, Philip Lauer, Caleb Pipes in 3rd, Tom McQuell 4th, Simonek 5th. Rounding out your top 5, you have Philip Sen, Jay Walsh, Darren Doxty, Nathan Healy, Matt Mullen, Andrew Brahm, Tom Valentini, Paul Legat, Dan Palmerley, Colin Sanson, Ronald Moons, Russ Fowler, Christian Smits, and Wade Proctor, as we get the lights up for race number 3, the final race of this series, and we are green. And a great start there from Caleb Hives. I wonder if we'll be able to try to get Lara on the inside of turn 1, which I think he might be able to do here, Sam. So great move there from Caleb, a poor start there from Lara, and obviously Simonek going through as well into 2nd place. So Lara dropping down from 1st to 3rd with Paul McGill, Sen, Doherty and Walsh ran out. So the big winner, it was going to be Tom Valentini, but unfortunately he seems to be pulled up into an incident. So he was 5 places up, and unfortunately a big run all up in the area on the infield out of lap 1, Sam.
Well, Samson with 3 wheels on his wagon, it seems, spinning around. So shame for Samson, who led the amateur category at the start of race 1, but it's all kind of gone south for him ever since then. No race start there for Lewandowski, so he was meant to take the pole position, but deciding not to take the start there. Oh, they did start from the pit, so I'm quite sure what that one was about. But yeah, Hides and Seven. Hopefully we see a nice duel between those two. Lauer and McQuell are teammates, remember, and so they should work with one another. But really, so far, another strong Luxembourg drivers, those two, along with Schmitz and Valentini, of course, have really been able to show much promise. There's lots of changes here. That's Palmerley storming through and making a huge contact with Damien McMullen. Well, we haven't seen too much of that stuff in the ads all season long, but Palmerley moving to 3rd position in that category now.
Yeah, definitely. I think he had a bit of nitrous there in his car, because he seemed to shoot past the Irish contingency. Obviously, slightly hitting one of them on the way through, but had an excellent run out of that corner, as we did have all the 3 Irish contingencies together. But Mullen obviously seemed to have a bit of contact through that with Palmerley, and is now down to 11th place. As Victor Lewandowski is a bit weird. He obviously didn't grid up in time, which is probably a bit unfortunate for him, because it probably would have been nice for him on the last race of the season to get that pole position start and to see what it was like at the head of the grid.
He's almost letting past Fowler there as well, so I'm quite sure what's going on, to be honest. But yeah, quite an odd one, as there's Tom Valentini, poor lap that last time around, 53.8. So yeah, way down the order, of course, having a sluggish lap 1, as going to see a move here from Philip Sen, who usually is just behind McQuell, honestly, in terms of pace, but that is a lovely move there from Philippe. I just mispronounced his name, so I'll say Philippe once again, and hopefully he'll even it all out. McQuill's dropping back. He's dropped into the clutches of Doherty now, so I don't know what's happening with the low grip racing driver.
So we just have a slight bit of damage. Just a shout out to our YouTube viewers and Twitch viewers. If you like what you're seeing on stream, then please do subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon, and you will get notifications for all the series that Apex Racing team does broadcast. And as Sam alluded to earlier, it's pretty much every day there's a series and a big... Was that a big hit into the wall there from Lengert? Obviously got that turn one all wrong, and unfortunately had to tow back to the pit. So I think that's his race one out. Pretty strange line there, Sam, and obviously he seemed to be pushed out by the other two and didn't have the opportunity then, and then decided to brake late.
Once again, plus the pass from the old Charlotte Roval, where you used to have basically the corner, but then you'd have the big timing tower, and it'd just be surrounded by tyres. And if you went slightly wide, the perfect line was just skimming with absolutely huge kind of tyre wall. And I mean, it used to be an absolute neck breaker. This circuit is crazy. And then of course we had the old chicane, the 2018 chicane, which was immense, and I desperately want us to visit back then Apex Racing TV very soon again. Maybe next season we'll do that around this part of the track. It used to be basically a flat out bus stop chicane with a murderous tyre wall on the outside. So yeah, some epic configurations of the circuit, as Parmley was just moving through there into 7th place. Dan past Nathan Healy, just getting the inside for the bus stop. Simonek is right on the back of Hydes now, and I don't know about you here, Andy. I'd just be waiting behind Hydes. I don't need the points as Simonek. As long as I'm confident I'm not going to get a penalty after that the race one incident, I should be all good to stay in 2nd place and not risk picking up a penalty or having any collisions or anything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Caleb obviously looking in his rear mirror, and his relative will see that Power's behind him, so he'll know that he's got his main rival behind him, and unfortunately he's not going to have that sort of gap in the championship to gain up. But exactly like you said, Powell doesn't need to pass him. Both of them two are starting to pull away from a 3rd place, so all he needs to do is just stay in his slipstream and just enjoy this last round, and he should, barring any penalty incidents, be crowned as the champion.
McQuell is very close to Senna game. McQuell has remembered how to drive all of a sudden, and he's absolutely storming back. He's played possum perhaps, and maybe he'll go on to win the race, because look at this, he was falling into clutches Doherty, but trying to get past the Brazilian now, and this is a very good position to be in. You don't really want to be alongside, honestly, around this part, because you kind of just want to get a nice bit of momentum, because if you do take the outside line, it's such a longer route and the inside drag can kind of defend. But well, let's see if McQuell can do this one. It seems to have proved me wrong, to be fair, because that looked fairly good, but quite cautious on the brakes there, and Felipe remains in 4th.
He must have been listening to your great advice there, and obviously just slipped in behind Felipe Sen there, and just biding his time to make that possible opportunity. But he did put in the fastest lap of the race, I believe, that last lap, which was a 1:31.78. Was a lap before last, the one where you said he was found his speed again, so certainly did, and got the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that was an epic lap, wasn't it, from McQuell? So yeah, no shortage of speed. Not sure if he's close for a result in the championship. I'll have a look at that one in just a bit, as Bremer and Schmitz have had a problem. I'm seeing Bremer off the circuit for a little while, and he's just dropped behind Schmitz there, so that's not where you'd want to be, and I think quite a bit of damage on that car. Shame for the Andy Bram Racing driver, and it's another car who's lost a wheel, seemingly.
I think it's turning into a Robin Reliant race here at the back end of the field. So it's good. But another shout out to one of our sponsors, the wonderful overlay that our producer is broadcasting for us. Is sponsored by SDK Gaming. Oh, as we see a big hit again there. Oh, that's a replay. I do apologise. Of Andrew Brahm decided to turn his car into a Robin Reliant. Yeah, as I was saying there, SDK Gaming adds a virtual live HUD to iRacing, showing time in towers, enhanced relative boxes, mini maps, fuel calculators, and more. Stream to Switch, which is the most complete overlay in iRacing, so there's very little latency if you use it on the Switch channel. Broadcast your leagues and series. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary, teams, cameras, focus drive and overlay with your broadcaster, and you adjust your team strategy on the fly with the most accurate live timing on iRacing. An outstanding piece of equipment, and one that we use as commentators, which makes our lives so much easier, Sam.
Yeah, we get all the graphics that you guys are watching. We can see exactly what Sam Kume in the production booth is showing us. Yeah, but for literally years, commentators never saw what the broadcaster saw. I mean, there just wasn't the technology to do it. SDK Gaming syncs up our cameras, so we can see exactly what we want. So, no, it's absolutely amazing stuff. I cannot imagine doing broadcasting without it, honestly. Valentini is trying to get past Moons. Oh, that looks lovely for the Luxembourgian. And he is passed for Sim RC. Had a good race 1 actually, did Valentini, but yeah, been a bad race 2 at the moment for him, and he finished in 12th position back in race 2. Apologies, poor race 3 so far, I meant to say. But so yeah, past the Belgian. World Moons nice and easy there. This is one of the closest battles. I think the closest battle is actually for the lead at the moment, as Moons just drops back. And still 0.4 of a second the gap for the final race win of the season.
Yeah, that was a textbook overtake on the bus stop there from Valentini on Moon. So great to be able to see that live on stream. So that's how it's done. As we see here, the battle for first place, less than a second. Simonek, the championship leader, with, as Sam said, around about 25 points. And there's 7-point difference for the race win and race second. This is a carbon copy of round 1, where Simonek managed to come out on top on the very last corner of the race. And as you say, Sam, I think if it was me or if it was yourself, we would just stay behind. There's no need to cause an incident like pretty much was round 1, and just happily stay behind, I think. But I don't know if Powell's got something else in his mind that he wants to do and wants to win the final race of the season.
Yeah, it's got to be tempting, isn't it? And if he, as we're going to see a move here, well, that's a lot of overspeed, and this is very similar to the last lap in race 1. He's going to defend in the same way. Now, this time, Powell doesn't use as much space on the track, but he has got an excellent cutback. I'm not sure if Hyde's going to be able to cover this one off. But he did stay ahead. Gosh, that was a lot of overspeed there for Powell, and that'll be encouraging for him that he can perhaps pull off the move in the time that's remaining. But I was just looking at the overall race wins this season, and heading into this round, Powell had 3 and Hyde's had 4. Now, currently they're 4 all because Powell won race 1. Maybe he'd like to get the 5th race win and the most race wins of anyone this season. I don't know, maybe that would be something that he'd quite like, might be in the back of his mind. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, maybe that would be a slight luxury for him to claim right at the end.
Yeah, definitely, as we're watching here, the second place race for the championship between Healy and Doherty, with 2 pros in the mix, Valentini and Moons at the moment, sandwiched in between them either side. So nice to see the 2 Irishmen all the way through the season staying close together and continuing up to the end of the race. And I'm pretty sure that we'll get both of them in the interview room at the end of the race, as we do every week, which is always a delight to see how they got on. But at the moment, it seems like they're having fun. With Dan Parmalee again out in the lead of the big hit there between Healy and I think it's at Valentini. Yes, so that puts paid. Oh, it looks like we have a change for the lead.
Yeah, so I'll stop interrupting you, Andy. You can.
That's all right. You can go, Sam. Go.
You do it. Well, there you go. You saw it for yourself, viewers. We couldn't describe it better than you seeing it with your own eyes. 1,000 words in that. And Powell moving ahead. Lovely stuff. and yeah, would maybe be fitting for him to end the season ahead, and certainly no hard feelings from Caleb, because very fair racing on that occasion. Was that Walsh, I think, just defending from Mini Walsh has done a hell of a lot of defending so far tonight. Always seems to have fast drivers behind him. Hyde's not giving up. We've got one more lap to go after this one. Quick shout out as well to Debbie Parmley, who has enjoyed the stream. Thank you very much, Debbie, for tuning in, and of course seeing Daniel taking the championship tonight, and looking like it's going to be another amateur race winner as well for him. As look at Hydes with this run, there is contact this time between the two of them. Simonek, well, he's still got 4 wheels on that thing, he should be fine to drive it to the finish, but Hydes with a proper nice move there around the outside. We haven't seen too much of that so far tonight, but well, he really pulled that one off super.
I wouldn't mind seeing a replay on that one, to see what happened there. I don't think Powell will be too happy with that. So as we see here, just start the race, start the lap here. It's down into the bus stop. So that overspeed that Powell allows now, Caleb has got. He's got alongside him.
Oh man, well that's the Aussie connection for you. That's unlucky, because actually they left each other loads of room. I mean, credit to Powell, they could have turned in, but he left loads of room for his rival. And yeah, shame to see it end like that.
Yeah, as we see McQuell trying to challenge now Simonek for second place, which would help Caleb out a lot here. So we'll see, we're drastically running out of space now. I think this is the last lap of the race. And we'll see if McQuell makes a move. But as we look at the front, obviously Caleb Hydes is out front. He should win this race, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here in second place. We've got Simonek with McQuell right on his tails, but massively running out of room. You can see the massive amount of overspeed you do get being in that slipstream behind. So be interesting to see if McQuell can get right on the back of Simonek coming out of this corner. What happens into the last corner, and I wonder if it'd be a role reversal for the first race, as you see Caleb Hydes here coming over the line to take the race win and the overall win for race wins of the season. So he's coming around the last corner here, just needs to keep it nice and clean, and he takes the race win. So Caleb Hydes takes the final win of the season, and Powell Simonek seems to have taken second place still with McQuell and Lauer behind in fourth place, as we watch Dan Parmley here in sixth place, winning the AM category. So a good race win at the end there, Sam, for Dan after his first 2 races not being the best.
Yeah, that was a nice finish for him. Excellent sixth place. The final few drivers crossing the line as well. Healy beating Walsh, and Fowler. That was a good battle in that final race. Samson a lap down, I believe. And well, it seems as though then, and you know, I've done enough of these, like I said earlier on. I don't like to call it too early, but at least before penalties and all of that stuff, it looks as though Powell Simonek is the Season 2 champion of the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup. And yeah, a super well-deserved champion in his first ever Apex Racing League season as well. And in a format like this with reverse grids, it's a unique format. It usually takes a few seasons for drivers to get up to speed, but he was up to speed straight away. Those 2 race wins at Watkins Glen really did set the tone for the season, and he has taken a fantastic championship win, it seems. And of course, in the amateur category, Dan Parmley, he's come close a couple of times already. Last season of the Mazda Cup he came close, and also the Porsche Cup a few seasons ago, but he has finally got over the line this season, and I think that one is beyond doubt. So congratulations to Dan Parmley for taking that amateur class victory.
Yeah, definitely. As we see the race results for race 3, so Caleb Hydes in first place, Powell Simonek in second, Tom McQuell third, Philip Lauer in fourth, Philippe Sen in fifth, and Dan Parmley in sixth, the top of your AMs. Ronald Moons, Darren Doherty, Damien McMullen, Christian Smits. Good to see he had finally had a good round in the last race of the season, not finishing the first 2. Nathan Healy, Jay Walsh, Russ Fowler, Colin Sampson, Andrew Bam, Victor Lewandowski, Tom Valentini, and Paul Agat. And Wade Proctor that seems to have had a terrible round, this one being out on every single race. But I'll echo what you said there, Sam. You know, I think there was one round which was Lime Rock Park that Simonex struggled on during this 8-round season. But every other round he was on top form, and obviously, like you said, omitting any penalties at the moment, I think he is a worthy championship. And to be fair, all season long between himself and Caleb has been fantastic to watch on stream, and some really close battling in between the two of them.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. The standard of driving, I think, has been terrific this season. I think the community as well of Mazda Cup drivers has been really great to see. It's a close-knit kind of group of drivers, honestly, because, well, we don't have a whole lot of them, honestly, but so many of them took part in Season 1 as well. They've all got to know each other very well. Of course, when you have so many reverse grids, you do get to race absolutely everyone out on circuit. Final shouts out, by the way, to Apex Racing Academy. We saw their trailer earlier on, but just to give a little bit more information on what services Apex Racing Academy provide. They have 29 data packs, and that is for road and also rallycross cars, setups, track guides, and it's also integrated with VRS as well, so you can get the fantastic data analysis software from VRS, but also use the brilliant setup sync technology from Apex Racing Academy if you do that, and all the setups and all the track guides and stuff are all set there in one place. So do check out apexracingac.com to get more details. I think for free, actually, they do some setups for the Mazda Cup car, or maybe just some track guides, I think, for the Mazda Cup car. So if you're new to iRacing in particular, that's a really good place to start, because you can get those videos totally for free, and yeah, quickly get up to pace in the rookie series, as I believe we've got a few drivers waiting for an interview, Andy.
Yeah, quite a few there. So who would you like to pick first, Sam?
Oh man, I'll have a chat with Mr. Palmley, Mr. Dan Palmley, who joins us in the comms box now. And Dan, well, I was just about to upload the points, but I think we knew heading into this round what the result would be, and certainly after those 3 results, we can announce you as the season champion. Congratulations.
Oh, that is excellent. It was definitely a tough season overall. Although I only mixed it up with Damien these last couple races, but getting all that time with some of the pro drivers up at the front was definitely quite the dogfight most of the season. But so relieved to be done. I figured, I pretty much just had to start the races today, but you never know. So I went out there and tried to do as best I could.
Definitely. I mean, a word on today. I mean, how was it out there? Because it was a bit more chaotic than what we usually see. Particularly race 2 seemed to be quite a lot of contact.
Yeah, race 2. I think it was just the last race. Sam, everyone wanted to go out there and do as best they could. So I think a lot of respect went out of the window in that second race, and we just got destroyed. A whole bunch of us going into the backstretch chicane there. Someone just got on the brakes a little too late, and I was 3 wide. I did not want to be in that position. I was trying to bail out and just let everyone get by and fall back in line and live to see another day, but it didn't work out that way, and a whole bunch of us just got taken out. But managed to fight back there in race 3, got almost a top 5, I think.
I was saying in the broadcast a couple of times how, of course, you've finished in the top 3 in the Porsche Cup Championship before. I believe you finished in the top 3 in this championship last season. The fact that you've come close a couple of times before, does that make this championship win a bit sweeter?
Definitely. There was a lot of bad luck last season that kept me from winning it. I know the Porsche Cup, it was just so competitive, and that car is so hard to drive. But to finally figure some things out with this car and go out there and be really competitive and be in the top 10 race after race, week after week, was definitely really fun, and just really glad that I was able to do that.
What's next up on the list? Do you think you'll be signing back up to the Mazda Cup Championship when it comes back, or have you got your eyes set on something else?
I need a bit of a break between this league and another one, driving stock cars and now driving the truck with ARL and on Thursdays, and I believe you're one of our competitors there as well. We'll see when the next Mazda Championship comes up if the availability's there, but I'm thinking I might need a little bit of a break going into the fall and maybe pick it back up in the winter, a little more, get some more league races under my belt.
Totally understand that one. Congratulations on the 8 rounds, Dan, and the championship win. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Give a shout out to the family as usual. I know they're watching. Give a shout out to my wife. She's still out west fighting wildfires. And big thanks to Apex Racing League for putting this on. It was another great season, and looking forward to continuing on Thursday nights in the truck.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you then, Dan. I hope in a good fashion. Hopefully not on my roof. But yeah, see you on Thursday, and best of luck, of course, with that.
Definitely. Same to you. We'll see you next time.
Dan Parmley there, your amateur class champion, and also some pretty handy results tonight to score the most points of anyone in the amateur category. So congratulations to him. And who are you going to have a talk with next?
Let's get Caleb into the interview room. Let's get in. Hi, Caleb. Welcome to the commentary box. Probably unfortunate result in the end there for yourself, but I think overall, I mean, certainly personally, from my opinion, is that you've had an outstanding season. You made some excellent viewing on the stream of yourself and Powell. Unfortunately, it seems that you might have come up a little short currently on the results for the championship, but you know, at the end of the day, I think you've been a worthy contender for that top spot in the championship. So overall, mate, from personally from myself, is thank you for all that excellent racing. And what would you like to say about it, mate?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed couldn't get it in the end. I gave it my absolute best, and yeah, just got unlucky. I think I had the speed not only this round to win, but I think every round I was pretty quick. And I felt like I was more of a complete driver this season than last season. So I was really hoping it would come together this morning, but unfortunately it didn't. But at least when I got the chance to be up front, I was always up front. So I think that's the main positive. And yeah, we had a really good season. So yeah, look, come second in the end, and second's not as good as first, especially when you had that opportunity sitting 5 points behind coming into the final round, but I'll take it, and I think I can still be pretty happy with how the season went, and I know I gave it my best, so yeah, I can be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, don't obviously you'd be a bit disappointed at the moment, obviously getting possibly the second place at the moment, but like I said, mate, if you watch back the stream, you know, you were super competitive tonight. You know, the first race was amazing all the way up until the last corner of the race. Second race, unfortunately, got hit into the incident that happened on the first lap, but that third race you drove away. So, you know, one bit of good news which Sam told me about was that overall for the season, you take the first position for the most wins in the season. So yourself got 6 and Powell got 5. So, or if anything else fails, mate, at least you got the most wins of the season.
There we go. Can write that on the profile. No, but yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, I got quite a lot of poles as well. So yeah, it was good to show that we're quick, and you know, I'm quite excited to hopefully move further in iRacing now. Maybe not come back to this Mazdas and maybe do like a more higher Apex League. Obviously, this championship is fantastic, but maybe even look at like, you know, taking into the F3 championship or even the touring car championship. So yeah, I think proved a lot this season, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, obviously the cars you're talking about, there's always championships going on in Apex Racing League, so we do hope to see you in one of them in the near future, and we never know. I'll never say never. We might see you return to the Mazda just to get that win under your belt and chase your demons away as such. So thank you very much for all your racing this season, and it's been a privilege to commentate on yourself and Powell during the race. Before we let you go, mate, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out finally to?
Thank you. Yeah, just massive thank you to my team, Dropbow Motorsports, Tom and Daniel up the team who got me out here. I wouldn't be racing in here if it wasn't for them. So yeah, massive thank you to them. Big thank you also to the team sponsors and Cozy, Sam Blacklock Media, Hybrid Racing Simulations, and Revolution Race Gear. Big thank you to Powell for putting on an absolute epic season. We had some mad races and it was just so much fun. And big thank you to Apex Racing for making this happen. This wouldn't have happened without all of you guys. So yeah, big thanks to you guys, and yeah, it's been great.
Thank you very much, Caleb, and look forward to seeing you in an Apex season in the near future, mate. So good luck.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Okay, there was Caleb Hybes looking at the moment, just getting pipped at the last race, but you know. The good thing though out of that, Sam, was that he gave himself the opportunity in this last race. He was 25 points down in the race before, managed to claw it back, and he was in the hunt. So I know he sounds a bit disappointed there, but you know, all in all, what he's achieved this season, he should certainly be proud of.
Absolutely, yeah, he has improved since last season. A bit more consistent, a bit more pace as well. So, hopefully we do see him back on Apex Racing TV very soon. I got time for a couple more interviews. One man that I gotta have a chat with, obviously, is
Should get them all in.
well, we could try maybe. Well, we'll do Damien first at least.
I'm up for it though. Come on.
Try all three of them at once, Sam. Try something new on Apex TV.
Well, we'll bring in all the Irish,
yeah,
shall we? So I got Damien, Nathan, and Darren all in the comms box. Welcome everyone.
Don't know how guys.
Let's see how this one goes. Actually, a question that I've got, which I'm a little bit confused. Obviously, two of you are in a team. Is it Damien and Darren? You're in a team, I believe, but Nathan, you're not in a team. But you kind of work together at the same time. I mean, what's been the relationship between you guys so far this season? Has there been a bit of an Irish alliance?
So myself and Damien are in the team together. So but then I run in a secondary team for endurance racing, but we're all in the same Discord community.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I'm staying quiet though. I mean, I don't want to talk too much.
well, David. I mean, first up, I mean, congratulations on what I believe is runner-up in the amateur championship.
Yes, it is.
Of course, you would have had your sights set on the win, but I mean, Dan was so good. But I mean, you must feel like you've pretty much maximised the season. I feel like this season, so many top 10s, particularly in the back end of the season.
Oh, it was just to say keep the head down and everything. And unfortunately, for this weekend, I think I ran out of talent. But as I said, just keep the car going. Bring it home and see where I finished, and finished second overall in the Pro-Am Championship. It was just, that's icing on the cake for me.
And Nathan, you managed to get a 9th, a 9th, and 11th tonight. So a fairly good way to cap off the season. But you had to get your elbows out, it looked like, out there. There was a lot of overtaking, lots of kind of, good moments where you gain 3 places on lap, and then all of a sudden you'd lose them all again.
Yeah, it was a good race, and there's great Robin, as myself and Damon always do, Robin's racing. So we like to have a bit of fun. And I think with those results tonight, I actually secured 6th in the championship overall, which is good for me because after season round 2 and 3, I was like 10th. So because I missed them, definitely fought back as hard as I could. Had some good runs there with Damien and Darren throughout the entire season. So yeah, well worth it, and can't wait for the next one.
Absolutely, and Dan, you still managed to get a couple of P8s at the end of the season. Yeah, some pretty good results to cap off the championship.
Yeah, I had a poor start last week. A new wheel and a 2 jump starts on race 1 and 2, so that put me way down the packing order. I was watching Jay Walsh. Obviously, it was only 9 points getting into this race, so I think I had to keep, as if you could see through in the race, I was trying to keep out of trouble. I let Dan through in the final race to take the P1 because I wasn't up for a fight. I didn't want to risk it. But yeah, as I said, it's been a brilliant championship. I reckon Nathan would have been up there as well if he hadn't them 2 weeks off. So no, it's been full first full season, and I definitely enjoyed it.
Absolutely, it's been great to have you all, race along this championship. Didn't know if do you want to do like a group shout outs or something, or do you want to do
Who
them
wants
all
to start?
individually?
We'll go
No,
Damien because he came second, didn't he?
Yeah, give it to Damien.
So I just want to thank all your team in Apex, Sam and Andrew, for all the work you do, and Samuel for doing the camera work and everything, and to all my sponsors and my family, and to the Predate Nation crew. It's for ye boys this season.
Awesome, Darren. Is there anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to?
No, listen, I'd just like to thank everybody that's been following me on the Twitch and giving me tips along the way. The community, Demon's giving me a few tips along the way as well. So hopefully next season, if there's another Mazda, which I hope there is, we'll be rubbing and racing again for another season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. And also Nathan, I mean, anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to yourselves, put on another fantastic season, and shout out to the SCCR Sports crew that I raced with for the endurance. It's the same as well as Damo, the Potato Nation. We represent as best we can.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, guys, and very much look forward to having you all back, hopefully in the near future.
Perfect.
Okay,
See you there,
thanks very
boys.
much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
So that was the entirety of Ireland in the commentary box. I wonder if we can get one last interview with Jay Walsh, actually, Andy, because he's the one guy who we haven't had a chat with. Maybe just a couple of questions with Jay. Are you happy to do that?
Yeah, can do. Hi, Jay. Welcome to the commentary box, mate. How are you?
Oh, good, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. We saw you down there. We've seen you in the waiting room a few times. So before we get you in, as it's the season close, get it. So how's your season gone, mate?
Well, that was the best race so far. All the other races, I didn't feel like I did too well, but that race was mega.
No, it's great. It's I think it's your first season in the MX-5. How have you found it?
Hard to get fast.
Yeah, for sure it is on these, but that's what these the beauty of these league racing is all about. Can you tell us about the experiences you've had within the league and what you've found to be the most beneficial thing, and are you looking at coming back for the next season?
I thought it was great. I was happy just to be there, just to learn off some of the good guys like Caleb and Simonek and that lot.
No, you're planning to come back for next season if we put on another MX-5 championships?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, obviously, coming into the next season, you've been put yourself in good stead this season. It's you always have one with a banker to learn the tracks, and then obviously you do a hell of a lot better in the second season you join. So you should be expecting some good things out of you on the next season. So before we let you go, mate, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the stream?
I'd just like to thank you guys at Apex Racing. That was just brilliant.
Brilliant, mate. Well, thank you very much for coming to join us in the commentary box, and we'll look forward to seeing you again, mate, next season and fighting for that AM win in the season. So good luck, mate, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Cheers. See you guys.
See you later, guys. There we go. Jay Rolls, new member to the MX-5 League season.
Yeah, and him and of course many of the other new drivers have made such a good impression, because I mean the quality this season, and I mean you probably caught a few rounds of last season. The quality's just taking a new level. I mean I look at all the Luxembourg contingent, a few of the new Irish drivers, and the Brazilian drivers as well, such as Philippe Serenke. And of course Simonek as well, our overall champion. It's been an absolute immense season, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's very multicultural. We've got probably from all over the world, actually, from Australia to America to Brazil to Europe. So it's a multicultural league that's been in, and it's been a privilege to commentate on it. I'm a bit sad it's the end of the season, but where one door closes, another one opens, and I hope to see all the guys back for the next season and hopefully get on the commentary team again.
Absolutely. There isn't currently sign-ups open for the next season of the Mazda Cup. Undoubtedly, it will come back, though. I mean, honestly, I'd maybe give it a couple of months, perhaps, until we bring back the Mazda Cup in the future. But yeah, certainly do make sure to join the Apex Racing League Discord in order to get that update of when that goes live. And also another great way to catch it actually is by following the Apex Racing TV social media. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. If you go on that, then you are guaranteed to get updated when a new championship goes live on this channel. So do make sure to check out those social channels. And of course, if you subscribe and like this video as well, you're maybe a bit more likely, because we occasionally do post details as well on this YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to take part in maybe not a Mazda necessarily, but if you want to take part in pretty much any other car on iRacing, all the high participation cars are covered on Apex Racing TV. Every night of the week we've got a new championship going, so you can join the GT3 championship, the Porsche championship, which features GT4 cars, GT3s, GTEs. You can join the NASCAR Trucks Championship, you can join the Stadium Super Trucks, you can join the Formula 3 or the GTE, or next week we've got the first round of the Formula V Championship. Low-powered single-seater, but it is so much fun to drive, visiting lots of tight and twisty circuits, which should really be ideal for that car. And that's starting next week on Monday. Very similar format as well to this one, so head over to apexracingleague.com in order to get signed up for that. Big thanks to, of course, the organisers for this championship, particularly Daniel Yeeman, for working so hard on this series to yes, get it all set up. And thanks to, of course, the other admins as well at Apex Racing League for putting on this terrific championship. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the action. It's certainly been fantastic for us guys up in the commentary booth to cover it all. And thanks to the drivers as well. If you're listening back, super appreciate you taking part in this season, for making this championship so professional as well with the driving, and also once again so entertaining for us. And of course, thanks to Andy and Sam, who I think have covered every round of the championship along with myself, which is quite rare for an 8-round championship. Usually one of us misses a round at some point, but I think we've been here for the entire season. We're proper stalwarts. So massive thanks to them guys for delivering this season. I have been Sam Fitzpatrick, and hopefully you have enjoyed this season of the Apex Racing League Mazda Cup Championship. It is Parel Simonek, your overall champion, and Dan Parmalee, your amateur champion. Hope to see you back very soon on Apex Racing TV in the near future. See you then.